Hi, I'm Renee with the Family Resource Center of Sheboygan County. Thanks for joining us for our Toilet Learning Tiny Talks, sponsored by Quick Trip. Thanks, Quick Trip. So you might have noticed that I said toilet learning instead of toilet training. There is a difference. We do want you and your child to learn about toileting independence together. It is quite the process. It's about a 6 to 8 month process. It's kind of similar if you think about it when your child was learning to walk. First, they had to learn to hold their head up as an infant, and then when they are on their tummy, they had to learn how to push with their arms, and then get up on their hands and knees and crawl, then pull themselves up, and then stand up by themselves, cruise around furniture, and finally begin to walk. So many similar things are happening in their body, except for it's all internal. That's why this process takes so long. Usually by the time children are about 2 and a half, they are in the middle of that process to begin learning about toilet learning. Some kids are earlier and some kids are later, but 2 and a half is the average. So congratulations on your decision to begin this process. I'm guessing that the decision was yours as the parent or adult and not the child's. Children really aren't motivated to learn this at all, and we'll talk more about motivation in a bit. But parents, you guys are so motivated to do this. There are so many pressures in this toileting independence phase. There's the cost. My goodness, diapers are and wipes are so very expensive. There's pressure from relatives. You might have people in your lives saying, you were toilet trained by the time you were 18 months. Well, difference between toilet learning and toilet training. I cannot reiterate that enough. Also, there's pressure from preschools. Most preschools do want children to be very steady in that toileting independence because they don't have time to mess with changing kids' diapers and all that. So that's really important. The other pressure is just plain old the mess of cleaning it up. You've been dealing with this for years and you're kind of done. And you're seeing other families and you're seeing other kids who are wearing underpants and you're like, I want that. So just have patience. It'll come. Because of this pressure, parents are very, very motivated. Um, Children are not very motivated. So there's some things that have to happen in a child's body in order for them to actually even be ready. So those some signs of readiness are the muscle control. Children have to be able to control their muscles and hold their urine or BM until they can get to a toilet. So that's a big, huge factor right there. Another thing that children have to have in their system is that neurological control. So in addition to muscular control, they have to have that neurological system in place. There are tiny little nerves going from the brain all the way to the sphincter muscles. Each one of those nerves has to be covered with myelin. That's that fatty protective coating so that that message can instantaneously get from the brain to the sphincter and back and forth. There's a lot happening right there. That's why there's a lot of confusion with little kids when they say, I have to go potty, when they're in the process of going potty, or I have to go potty, and then they can't go potty. All of that happens, and it's part of that neurological system. We cannot tell when that's finished. Usually that process does happen around 2 and a half, too. So that muscle control and that neurological control usually happen around 2 and a half in our brains. The third aspect for child readiness is that emotional control. They have to want to do it. But again, they don't have the motivation. So that's up to you guys to try and figure out how to get your child motivated to go. The 2-year-old brain is very confusing. 2-year-old brain, they are learning all about themselves. They're not being selfish at all. They have built up attachment with you and other people that are very important in their lives. But at age 2, it's that period of independence. We've all heard of the terrible twos. It really isn't terrible. They're just learning about themselves, and we want them to be self-confident, self-assured. But sometimes when we're learning how to go to the bathroom independently and they don't see the motivation, they're gonna struggle with that. Really, 2-year-olds want control too. They're learning that they can sometimes get control. But really, the only things that a 2-year-old can have control about, they have control over if they eat, when they sleep, when they fall asleep, and going to the bathroom. We can't control that. That's all up to them. So we got to kind of convince them and work with them together. The 2-year-old brain also has the most connections that they'll ever have in their whole entire life. Why are they so busy? It's because they have a lot going on upstairs. So we got to be patient with them. They're all about learning and discovering and exploring. So when we ask a 2-year-old if they want to go to the bathroom, what are they going to say? They're going to say no, because they're learning that they can have control sometimes. Well, they're experimenting with other people too. Usually around age 3 is when they really start to understand how other people feel. So be patient with that 2.5, 3-year-old. They're just learning. But when you ask, do you have to go? They're gonna say no. Just like, do you want to go to bed? No. You have to say it's time to. And rather than be the bad guy, one tip is set an external timer. If you have a phone or if you have one of those smart speakers or a timer on your microwave or stove, any kind of a timer, set your timer for about every hour and a half or whatever time period you think would work for you and your family. That way, when the timer goes off, you can say, oh, it's time to go. And the timer can be the bad guy. Um, so also, some parents will wonder about rewarding. There's a difference between rewarding and bribing. We don't want to ever bribe our child. We want to give them a nice reward. So sometimes sticker charts work. And I guess, maybe that is a bribe. If you go to the bathroom, then you get a sticker. But we want to present it as a reward. Look it, you went to the bathroom, you get a sticker. Which one do you want? You can also save up stickers, teach them a little bit about budgeting. If you get 10 stickers, then we can do something special. You can watch your favorite show. We can do something, whatever. Um, Stickers also help your child learn how to count, because this is that fun age when they're starting to meaningfully count things. So, not that you have to use a reward system, but it helps. It helps motivate the child, because again, we got to figure out something to motivate them. Um, Another motivator for children is when you're pretty sure they have that muscle control and they're keeping themselves dry for a little bit, and you're maybe using that alarm system. Also, because diapers are made so very well, they are, they don't feel, your child doesn't feel when they're wet. They've been going to the bathroom for the same way for years, so it doesn't matter to them. And it is more difficult. They have this huge world that they are exploring. They're learning something new almost every minute of the day. Why should they go into a dreary bathroom with nothing to do when they have this whole glorious world elsewhere? So we got to make it interesting to them. Um, and we have to make it fun. And we have to make it motivating. So again, if you put on underpants, then the diaper, then they're going to feel it and they might not like it that much. Also, when your child's in the bathroom and they're sitting there, that's a motivator right there. If you can get them to sit at the beginning of this process and then sit without anything on, that is a different position, and it is difficult for them to release. Just like, remember back when your little baby was like, 4 or 5 months old, and they would grab onto something and they would hold it, and then eventually they learned how to drop it, and then they learned how to throw with better control, and then now your child is probably throwing pretty well with accuracy. So that releasing, that muscle release, in a different position it's really difficult. If you have adults have ever tried to use a bedpan, it's not easy. So just give them a little break with that release. Sometimes it is really hard when they're sitting there, sitting there, sitting there, and then it's time to get up. Then they'll go because they're used to going to the bathroom standing up. So if you happen to have a little boy and they had been sitting there for a while and you're pretty sure they really have to go, then quickly turn them around and have them go. So also we want to make things easy for your child. Have them dressed in clothing that's easy and fast to pull down so that they can, when they need to go, they can go right away. Make the equipment available for them. Have them be involved in that process of picking out whatever kind of potty chair they want. If they want the kind that sits on the toilet, that's great. If they would rather have a potty chair, of course you as parents have that choice too, because you're the ones that are going to have to deal with the cleanup most of the time. But also involve your child in the cleanup. If they have an accident, do not shame your child. Don't say, oh my gosh, that's horrible, you're a baby. Just say, yeah, let's just clean it up and have them be involved. That would be another motivator for them. If they have to help rinse out their underwear, I know this is gross, but we have soap and water and lots of sanitizer nowadays. So, involve them as much as you can. Also, another motivator is talking about going to the bathroom. If you're the kind of family that is very, very private about everyone going to the bathroom, your child's going to think that they're in this world all alone. They're not really going to understand why they have to stop what they're doing and go into this boring old room and sit there until their body responds. If you can and if you're comfortable with it, let them know, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. And if it's okay with you as a family to allow your child to watch you, that's cool, because then they learn that they're not in this world all to themselves. There are so many great books out there and videos that are fun. Sometimes that works too, to have your child watch the Elmo video that's on Sesame Street with Elmo learning how to go potty. That's a great one. And if you have potty books, have them read those books and you guys read them together while they're sitting on the toilet, just to kind of pass the time. So, I guess, good luck, and please, there's so much information out there, but just do what's right for your family and especially what's right for your child. So lots of praise, no shaming, and they'll get there. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for watching, and congratulations on this next big milestone.